You are Locked On Astros Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Houston on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Break up the Houston Astros. They are once again the hottest team in baseball, playing like a team that has their sights set on October. A weird night at Minute Maid Park where the offense was not to be found anywhere until the sixth inning, where they busted out against a guy that dominated them all night long. And they have now found their way to 3 straight wins in this series, 4 consecutive wins overall, and a series victory tonight in a very important series against an American League playoff team in the Kansas City Royals. And welcome to the Locked On Astros Postcast tonight. I am your host, Michael Connor. Thanks for joining me tonight on a Saturday night. Look, I know that there's a lot going on in the world tonight. You got college football all over the place. You got baseball. But appreciate you guys taking some time out to come and join us for this Locked On Astros Postcast. If you are in the mood for some college football talk in just a bit, we will do a Locked On Cougs postcast for the Cougs game after this. Currently got that game on the screen in front of me. It's not going very well for the Cougs to start the season. It's getting ready to be the fourth quarter here in a few minutes. But when that game wraps up, we'll do a show. So right here on this channel, if you're into college football and you're into the Cougs, we got you covered coming up in just a few minutes. But we're talking about the Astros now. The Astros are red hot. And the story of the night is, of course, the big inning being offensively what gets the job done. We'll talk about Kikuchi here in a few minutes. I want to give him enough space to where, we get through all of what's happened for him. Tonight was frustrating for a good long while of it. You always, in these situations, have to tip your cap, like I always say. I know that it gets probably annoying to some people, but you always tip your cap when the opposing pitcher goes out there and pitches his backside off. And that's what Ragans did almost all night long, all the way through that fifth inning. He was awesome. And then, what do you know? Wheels came off. I mean, that guy struck out 10 Astros in the first 5 innings of the game. That's the first pitcher this season to strike out Astros hitters 10 times in a game. First pitcher, period. Nobody else has done that. It's crazy. He was rolling, absolutely destroying them. And then it's just like, here you go. Here come the Astros out of nowhere, doing their thing, getting big hits left and right. Yainer Diaz driving in a couple there with the big single. And then Jeremy Pena busting it open with the 2-run single. And then, of course, he did come around to score on the wild pitch eventually. What they've done in this series has been just so impressive. This is a team, this Kansas City team, that came in red hot. And they played awesome baseball in their series before when they took on the Cleveland Guardians. And this Royals team has a lot to play for. They, by the way, if you missed that news today, they picked up to the Royals Yuli Gurriel today in a minor league trade with the Atlanta Braves. And they picked him up because they lost their first baseman in this series. And I would assume he is going to be called up. We'll see if he's called up. I haven't seen anything if he's called up to be with them tomorrow or not. That would be very odd to see. But Kansas City has everything in the world to play for. And they're 2 games behind the Guardians in the American League Central. They are also a wild card team. It's all right in front of them. And the Astros have come in here to this series, and they've taken care of them. I mean, I know that they blew the save last night. The Astros have taken care of them for 3 days in a row. Just have. By the way, we got an eye on Mariners and Angels. It's just starting in that one. We'll let you know if anything changes. That game is hopefully going to result in something good. I mean, the Angels tonight at least have Tyler Anderson pitching, and he's really good. He's been really good this season. So maybe he can carry the load for the Halos tonight and throw 1-0 shutout. A man can hope, right? I think I can hope. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that, and that's exactly what I'm going to do tonight. when it comes to that baseball game. But I don't have to hope about a lot because the Astros do stay right where they were. No matter what happens tonight with the Mariners, the Astros will keep that 3.5 game lead. It's 4 at the moment. And all is right in the world again. You know, they played such sluggish baseball after they got red hot. They got absolutely red hot. You know, this team, they won a bunch of games there early in August. And then it was like they got to that Boston series at home that dropped 2 of 3. They split in Baltimore, which honestly, in a 4-game series splitting on the road, I'm fine with. Lost 2 out of 3 in Philadelphia. It's just not been the best couple of weeks. And just like that, they get back home and they play really good ball this weekend. They secure a series win, which is great. And they're getting ready to go into a series over the next few days that, you know, they should do pretty well in against Cincinnati. We'll see if they can pull that off, of course. What I do know is that they keep getting the overall pitching that they have been getting from this team. They're going to continue to win a ton of baseball games. That's exactly what happened tonight. Again, we'll talk about Yusei Kikuchi here in just a moment because he was fantastic. Wanted to highlight the guys, again, that mattered. Look, the Astros only had 5 hits in this baseball game tonight. 5. That's it. As I mentioned earlier, they struck out 10 times the first 5 innings. They only struck out 1 time after that. 1. They only walked twice. You don't love that. They did go 2 for 2 with runners in scoring position, and they only left 3 men on base tonight. Talk about it. It's pretty good. Neris gives up a run in his inning, and then Presley picks up his 3rd save of the season by finishing it off there in the 9th. But it's Yiner and it's Pena tonight. Those 2 guys coming through the clutchest of them all. Should have had another run. You know, Jordan's getting robbed. But look, I shouldn't say should have. Looked like they were going to have another run. Jordan hits one out there to right. Gets robbed of a home run there in right field. It happens, right? It's baseball. You hate it for him. You want to have all the, you know, easy home runs that you can get, and that one looked like, I mean, it shouldn't say it was easy because, you know, it's going to be barely over the fence if it's a home run. But, oh, boy, they won, right? They won, and we are all happy tonight. Thank you guys again, as always, for joining us here on the Locked On Astros Postcast. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you are new here. If you're looking for this show in the podcast form, go search for Locked On Astros. I'll tell you more about that here in just a few moments. But when we get back here in just a brief second from this quick message, we'll talk Yusei Kikuchi being awesome. And look, both teams can feel good about the trade. The Astros actually have to feel good about the trade. We'll talk about it next. I have told you guys a lot about Liquid IV. Yeah, it's about hydration. Look, you're going to go out there, you're going to sweat. It's hot outside. Sure, it's not been as hot recently, but guess what? It's still like 90 degrees every day. It's still hot. You're going to sweat a bunch. I was out today. Well, first of all, we had a workout this morning, really hard workout for a Saturday morning. We always like to try and get a hard workout in Saturday mornings. I got home, making breakfast. Guess what we had? Some Liquid IVs, my wife and I did. Later on in the afternoon, we went out, we cleaned our garage. Guess what we did? We had some Liquid IV after that because we're sweating like crazy. And that's what Liquid IV is there for. It's there for the hydration. It's there for the nutrients. It's there for the electrolytes to get it all right back there into your body. Tear, pour, live more. 1 stick plus 16 ounces of water hydrates you better than water alone. No more thirsty summers. You indulge in hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code MLB at checkout. It's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today by using promo code MLB at liquidiv.com. Locked On Astros Postcast Saturday night. Happy Saturday night, by the way, of course, because why wouldn't it be? They won today. They went out there and they did their thing against the Kansas City team that made it look like it was going to be a tough night for them. It was a tough night for them for the most part, offensively. Hi, by the way, if you're new to the channel, I'm your host, Michael Connor. We're with you after every Astros game, win or lose. I would say tie, but tie's not a thing. You can hit the subscribe button to this channel and come on back. later on tonight, in about 14 minutes of game time here, we'll have our very first Locked On Cougs postcast. Cougars are not playing good football tonight. I am watching that game as we're doing this show. I'm a man of many talents, I think. I don't know. I might not have any talents. One of them is I can watch 2 games at once. I've been doing that all night long. Not going well for them. But we do Rockets, we do Texans, we do Cougs, we do Astros right here on this channel. So make sure that you're subscribed so you can come on back. If you're looking for the podcast of this show, go ahead and go and search for Locked On Astros. Anywhere that you get your podcast, you will get this show for free. Plus the Locked On Astros show, which is Brett and Eric always doing their thing. They do a great job keeping you covered when it comes to your Astros on a daily basis. So make sure you go subscribe to their YouTube page. Also listen to their show every day. And, of course, listen to this one as well. Yusei Kikuchi for the Astros has been spectacular. Dana Brown and his staff got it right. You know, we can sit here and, like I said, you can always be mad about the return that was given up. I think the only way that I ever will completely get over the return and not get angry about it is if the Astros go and win a World Series and Yusei Kikuchi's part of it. Then I won't care. A lot like, you go back to the trade in 2017 with the Blue Jays, and the Astros sent Teoscar Hernandez to the Blue Jays for Francisco Liriano. Now, look, overall, Liriano did not factor much into it. He did get a couple of outs, I believe it was, in the World Series and didn't give up any runs, and he pitched very briefly in the postseason. I'd have to go back and look, but I don't think he gave up anything. And if he did, it was in a game that they lost. But that always hurt when you looked at what Teoscar Hernandez became. Now, that could happen. Lo Perfido, I know, has played better baseball of late. Will Wagner hit his second home run tonight. He's been hitting the ball really well. I don't know if I haven't checked on Jake Bloss at AAA Buffalo for them at all. But if the Astros win the World Series, I'm not going to care. I'm not. You know why? Because they'll have their 3rd trophy in however many years it's been. That's the only thing that I'm worried about. And honestly, the way that this man has pitched, I tweeted it earlier, I think I have serious consideration to keeping him. He's coming off of a 3-year, $30-something million deal. I'd imagine he's probably at least 3 years, $60 million now, minimum. It's probably, their whole, payroll and how they're going to work that thing. They still got a dead year of Jose Abreu on it. They got a dead year of Rafael Montero on it. They got some issues when it comes to budget, but they're still making a ton of money. But, I mean, the way that Yusei Kikuchi has pitched, first of all, how could you not give this guy a postseason start? You have to. And how does he not start within the first 3 games of the series? I mean, we've talked about the Verlander thing, and it's the respect for Verlander and everything. But there is a possibility that if he does not pitch well down the stretch, and if these guys keep pitching better than him, Framber, obviously, game 1. Hunter Brown, game 2. Yusei Kikuchi, game 3. And what if Spencer Arrighetti keeps pitching in the month of September like he did in August? What are you going to do? You're going to have odd men out. And you're going to have hurt feelings somewhere. And that's a dangerous game I get to play with a guy that is a Hall of Famer and has meant so much to this franchise and helped them win 2 World Series. But that is a possible conversation that you're going to have at some point based off the way that these guys are throwing. Kikuchi now 35 innings in. By the way, he finally gets past the 6th inning tonight. That's been the one thing with him. He's not been able to get through 6. Does that. Here's his start so far with the Astros. 5 2/3, 2 runs, 11 strikeouts in that one. 5 1/3, 2 runs, 8 strikeouts in that one. 5 2/3, 1 run, 5 strikeouts. 5 2/3, 1 run, 7 strikeouts. 5 2/3, 3 runs, 4 strikeouts. 7 innings tonight, 1 run, 12 strikeouts. no walks. I've mentioned it quite a bit. You go look at his numbers now. 5 starts in with the Astros. 6 starts in with the Astros, right? 6 starts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 starts in. He's a completely different pitcher right now than he has ever been in these 6 starts. It could be a hot streak. You never know. It could be. But 6 starts in, he's 3-0 with a 2.57 ERA at the Astros. He has 47 strikeouts in 35 innings. He's only walked 10. And I keep emphasizing this every time that we do a show with him. This is a guy that has a career whip of 1.36. And so far with the Astros, his whip in 6 starts is .94. He has allowed 23 hits. He has a chance for the first time. A chance, I don't know or not. It's the first time in a while since 2022 that he could possibly finish with more innings pitched than hits allowed. He's still got some work to do there. He still has 10 more hits allowed on the season. Or excuse me, no, I'm wrong. He does have a chance. He's only 2 more innings pitched than hits allowed right now. So he can actually do that. I mean, he has been everything that they sold to us, plus some. Whatever the fairy dust that they love to sprinkle onto pitchers when they get here, it just gets back to here's the truth of it. Number one, it's the pitch usage discussion. It's going in and sitting down with these guys and talking them through here's what you do best. We think you should do more of this. And if you do this, we believe you're going to have more success. We'd love for you to try it. And then these guys go out there and try it, and they don't even really have to convince them anymore because you've seen so many guys come here and they do this with them. And this is, again, through 3 regimes, through the Luno, through the Click, and now into the Dana Brown era. It just continues and continues and continues. They are so good at developing pitchers and working with pitchers. I was in Florida in 2018. And I was sitting in the lobby of the offices upstairs at the spring training facility. And there was a conference room right there where we were at. And at the time, I'm not going to say the Astros executive that was there because he's no longer in baseball. He was fired during a postseason celebration for some things he said to a reporter. You can probably figure out who that is at this point. He was there in the room, and he was going over stuff with Garrett Cole. And showing Garrett Cole, I'm just sitting in the lobby. I can hear the whole conversation. I can see what he's showing him on the board. He's writing stuff on the dry erase board in the room and everything. And he's getting total buy-in. Garrett Cole's like, yeah, let's do this. Let's try this. Let's try that. I mean, like, that's kind of how it goes. They sit these guys down and they show them this, and they go out and they do it, and it breeds confidence. That's the biggest. They can show them this, show them that. There's just something about what they do that breeds the confidence a pitcher needs to go out there and succeed every time out. And that's exactly what they're getting, right? Every time. That's what they're getting with Yusei Kikuchi. Again, I don't know how you even tell that guy, hey, I can't pitch you in a series. Now, could he be where he's slotted as the 4th guy? Okay. And in an ALDS, you wouldn't need him in a starting spot. You might think about using him out of the bullpen a little bit. But, the Astros are so bullpen rich in certain areas. Like, that's hard to do, too. I said it last night, and I mean it, as I'm saying it again. This is every reason why, with all the flaws that they might have and how this might not be their best team that they've ever had, this is why they can win a World Series this year. Because look at what the pitching has continued to do every single night. It's vintage Astro stuff. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous how easy they make it look almost every time that they go out there. You hate to see it for these other teams. You hate to see it for the rest of the American League West. I love it. I'm a happy man, and I know that you guys are happy as well. And I'm telling you right now, you're not going to get me mad one bit if we get to the winter and you say Kikuchi is agreeing to a deal to stay with the Houston Astros. Just saying. Just saying. Tomorrow, let's talk about tomorrow's baseball game. The chance for a sweep. How big would that be for this club? That's next here in the Locked On Astros Postcast. Right now, I want to remind you about PrizePicks. It is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. PrizePicks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps, on PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. Watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the PrizePicks community today. You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. You could turn $10 into $1,000. Pretty awesome. PrizePicks is the best way to win real money this football season. Which players are going off? Which ones aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB and get $50 off instantly. Get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. Locked On Astros Postcast, rolling on here for a few more minutes as I, Michael Connor, your host, am back with you. If you're new to our channel tonight, thank you for stopping by. Don't be a stranger. Come back tomorrow or come back in a couple, 20, 30 minutes or so. The Locked On Cougs Postcast will happen. That show, not going to have good things to talk about tonight because the Cougs are getting absolutely rocked at TD-ECU Stadium tonight as we're doing this show. There's about 9 minutes left in the game, and they're down 24-0, and they have not even barely been a threat at all to score tonight. So we'll probably talk about the Willie Fritz era starting off as a big fat dud. Yikes. Absolute yikes. I mean, UNLV is celebrating on the sidelines. They're having a great time tonight. So, again, that show, Locked On Cougs Postcast, comes up here in just a little bit right here on this channel. Be sure to join us for that as well. The Astros tonight get the win, 5-2, easy over the Royals. Love to see it. Love to beat the Royals, too. Chance that these two teams, of course, could see each other in the postseason. They faced off early in the season. It's amazing how they're probably looking at this and going, man, what a different team that is. The Royals swept the Astros in the 3-game set earlier this season in Kansas City. That was what I'm trying to pull up the schedule right now. Those were the Astros won their first series, second series, third series, fourth series of the season. So that was their first road trip. Second series of the road trip. Final series of the road trip. Kansas City beat them 4-3, 11-2, and 13-3. Wow. Heck, they even followed it up the next night, losing 12-8 to the Rangers. Yikes. It's amazing how the seasons change, the feelings of the seasons change as they go along. And that's exactly what they did. By the way, the Astros, there goes. What? Now, you see, this happened last night on the show. I replaced the battery, and the battery worked. There must be something wrong with this mouse. I'm going to have to get a new mouse because it is dying on me for some reason. The Astros just finished off that month of August, and I mentioned it earlier how it was a little bit of a struggle there for a minute. They kind of played sluggish baseball, but they ended up going 18-10 in the month of August. It is their most wins in a month this season. It tops the month of June. Winning percentage-wise, it'll be just behind the month of June because in June they lost just 8 games. At the tail of the season, as I mentioned, you look at it. March, they went 0-4. They only played 4 games there. April, they went 10-15. May, they went 15-14, 17-8 in June, 14-11 in July, and then 18-10 in August. And if they go out there, I believe they needed to go, I think it was 20-10 in their final 30 to get to 90 wins this season. Based on the way they're trending at the moment, they should get there. And they'll probably finish a few games past that. Going for the sweep tomorrow, it'd be huge. It'd be absolutely massive to sweep this thing, to get out on the road, feeling great about it. Pitching matchup looks like it favors the Astros. Ronel Blanco up against Alec Marsh. 1:10 first pitch tomorrow. Of course, when this game wraps up, around between 3 and 4, we'll be with you for the postcast for that as well. Where I expect the Astros to go out and have that momentum of today, to have that excitement of today, and have that excitement of the possibility of a sweep in hand. And to be honest with you, if they could pull this off without Bregman another day tomorrow, that'd be great. I did not love what Joe Ibotta had to say earlier today about Bregman's elbow feels worse, and he basically hurts when he pulls the ball out of his gloves and goes up to throw. I'm telling you, it's not good. They're going to end up having to, you're going to get to the postseason, they're going to end up having to DH him. Jordan's going to have to play left field every day, and the Astros outfield defense is just going to get worse, but this is what they're going to have to do. He's going to have to tough it out. They're going to have to tough it out with what the circumstances are, and they're going to have to pull him out of games late defensively to get the best defense in there when they're winning late in a baseball game. So hopefully Bregman gets some more rest. If you can get him off tomorrow and they can win, and then if you honestly could sit him through the Cincinnati series, I think that'd be ideal. But you got to go win baseball games. That's still the objective. You don't have a 10-game cushion to where you could just sit them down for 2 weeks. Just can't do that. I'm thinking sweep tomorrow. You go ahead and put me down on the record. They're gonna figure out how to sweep Kansas City tomorrow. As I mentioned earlier, don't go too far. This channel will be live again shortly. We're not talking baseball the second time. We'll be talking college football. The Cougars game will be wrapping up soon. We'll be live for our very first Locked On Cougs postcast coming up in just a few minutes. Hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight. Thank you for stopping by. Hit that subscribe button. I'll talk to you on the next Locked On Astros postcast tomorrow. See you then.